Some chores, like some ladies have said, what do I do? My husband isn't taking out the trash. Just take it out. Do it as a gift with no strings attached. It makes you feel better. And the key is to have no strings. If you think, he didn't notice, he didn't thank me for it, that means you had strings attached. You did it with, I'm doing this for a certain expectation that I get from him. Do it as a gift.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fascinating Womanhood channel, where we talk about all things that have to do with femininity and building strong relationships. I am Sherry Lynn, and I am here with Dixie Andelyn Forsyth. Hi.
Hi.
So today we are talking about keeping your man number one.
A lot of people misunderstand and think that, like when you're dating and your boyfriend, your then fiance, is number one, you spend as much time as you can together. You spend lots and lots of time together, and you can then, minus work, school, and other things, when children come and other pressures come, you feel like you're not. So people don't understand what it means to make him number one and keep him number one. And it isn't just about spending large chunks of time together, because there's periods of time you cannot. So keeping him number one, we're going to go over 5 things. This is what has really helped me. You put him first in your thoughts. It doesn't take any time to do that. You think about him. How is he doing? Is there anything he needs? What can I do for him? Things like that. Has he had a good day? Is he having a good day? Those things take no extra time away from you. You can be doing several things at once and do that. So that's one thing.
Okay, so if you're struggling to keep him in your thoughts, how do you start doing that?
And this is not obsessive. It's something you just get in a habit of doing, thinking of him. And even if you have a brand new baby, even if you're sick, you can do that. These suggestions are things that you can do that are small things, not the big things. Mm-hmm. And these are things that anyone can do, whether you have 10 children, no children, or whatever. So put him first in your thought. Is there anything I can do for him? Those kinds of things. Number 2, acts of love. I do little things like, I've always done this. I serve Bob a bigger piece of something. I serve him first. I fold his laundry first. He never even knows about it. He doesn't even know most of the things I do. I do it for me to keep him number one. And it's such a habit now, I wouldn't know how to do it any other way. I fold his clothes first. I put his clothes away first before mine. Small things, tiny things, but they all add up and they count. And for your husband, it might be different than for mine.
One thing I've noticed that you do that I've always admired, and I don't see very often in this world that we live in, is that you always, if you're on the phone and he calls, you always stop the conversation politely and say, Bob's on the phone, I have to take this. If he texts you and you're busy doing something, you stop what you're doing and you get that text and you answer it. And I think that's incredibly valuable. It makes him feel like, wow, I really am number one. Even if it's something small that he's asking from you, you will get the phone. I think there's a lot of women out there that would go, well, I'm on the phone with my daughter. I'm on the phone with, certainly if you have an emergency, that's different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, on a regular basis, are you consistently saying, oh, he's calling or he's texting or he's, he needs me. I need to stop what I'm doing. If you can, I think that's a really admirable one that you do all the time. That's easy to do.
It's more like he's number one. So that's why I do it. He's number one. And
it doesn't mean everyone else is 0. It just means
number one. It's not like you're number 1 or you're number 100. And he's number 1. Okay. Acts of love, little things. And don't wave him off like, oh, I'll talk to you. Okay. The third thing I do is every day I think how grateful I am that I got to marry him. And I don't just try to talk myself into it. I think of specific ways that that he has helped me, that he has been a blessing to me in my life that I'm sincerely grateful for. And you can get in such a habit of this that you don't even think, okay, now I need to do this. You just do it. You just think of him. Sometimes when he's eating, I'll look at him and I'll think, or just have a flashback of remembering we were dating. I think, gosh, we got to be married. You can remind yourself of those things anytime, whether you have tons of things on your plate or not.
That's so great. Daily gratitude. Yeah.
Daily
And that's
gratitude.
easier said than done. It's something you have to practice and get good at.
But it's really simple. These are small things, simple things. We just usually get out of the habit. The fourth thing, tell him daily what things specifically that you love about him. Something. It doesn't have to be 20 things. Just something that you notice. And you're gonna notice those things if he's on your mind. If you look at him and you're gonna notice things like, I really like the way he handled that phone call. I like the way he looks today. I like the clothes that he's put on. I like that he was generous with me and bought me something. Or I like the fact that he's a kind person. The list is really long because most of us do not enter into arranged marriages where we marry a complete stranger. We want to marry this person. So think of the things and notice, be like a treasure hunter, and you will find things. And again, if you have a newborn baby, you can still do it. Because most of you know, I had 7. Bob always said he felt number one, even though I sometimes felt like it was years that I was getting up in the night all the time. And it was years that I was. But he knew where my number one choice would be to be. And if you need to, if you're not used to this, make a list beforehand. Some ladies do. The last one, number 5, is do special things for him just because, for no special reason. Like make him a treat that he loves, just out of the blue, or a favorite dish that he loves. Just think, my husband really likes, hamburgers or something. He really likes this casserole I make. I'm just going to make it for him. Hang up his clothes if he forgets to. Put his shoes away. Make sure, say, his towel, I think, needs to be washed. I need to wash his towel. And things like that. Do some chores. Like some ladies have said, what do I do? My husband isn't taking out the trash. Just take it out. Do it as a gift with no strings attached. It makes you feel better. And the key is to have no strings. If you think, he didn't notice, he didn't thank me for it, that means you had strings attached. You did it with, I'm doing this for a certain expectation that I get from him. Do it as a gift.
So what would you have to say to the ladies that are doing this for a really, really long time and they feel like he's not noticing? I've heard people say that a lot.
I had to learn this years ago, and I realized that those things are strings. He's not noticing. Are you doing it to get approval? If you give somebody a birthday gift and you're hurt because they didn't thank you for it, then there were some strings attached. And you might think, well, yeah, but they should. Well, you might be right, but the only way you can really be free, and that's the way you feel the best, is if you do kind things for people with no expectation of even a thank you. You do your little, sort of like if you've ever been part of like a secret pal or a secret sister, I used to do that in college, where you do secret gifts of acts of kindness for them. Look at it like that. I'm doing this just because, and I don't expect anything for a thank you. One other suggestion, brag about him to others, about specific things. Say, I am so proud of my husband when he did this, and find ways to brag about even little things that he does. And if he doesn't do it back, that's okay. You didn't have strings attached. And you're free. It's the only way you're free is when you do it that way. Keep in mind, ladies, the goal here is to have the deepest, most romantic, lifelong relationship with your husband. It's not to be a doormat. It's not to try to get him to do things. It's to have the deepest, most romantic relationship because they exist. They absolutely do. And yours can be that way too.
Well, this has been really helpful. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wonderful advice. And for those of you watching, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask down below. We'd love to hear from you. We try to answer every single question. Don't forget to click all of the links that we'll have attached below where you can find all the places to purchase Dixie's books, as well as workbooks. We also have tons of places that we're active on social media, so definitely check all those out. And we're here every week, so don't forget to hit subscribe so you will get a notification when we have a new video come out. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Take care.